If you're guys, if you're looking for a 7-seat electric SUV, like a big electric SUV, maybe you've got 3 or 4 kids, 5 kids, whatever, blended family potentially, and you're thinking to yourself, too expensive, can't afford them. Well, first of all, that's about to change. Here in Australia, there will be 5 or 6 different new 7-seat electric vehicles on the market within the next 12 months. And some of them are actually incredibly reasonably priced. But when it comes to existing models, the Kia EV9 is one of few or very few 7-seat electric SUVs, or even 7-seat vehicles. Unfortunately, they're still relatively expensive. However, there are some enormous discounts being applied. I mean, astronomical discounts. I'm shocked to see some of these discounts, but this is fantastic for consumers, not so good for the actual brands themselves. I'm sure they're making a big loss, but their loss could potentially be your gain. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. What's going on here? Well, first of all, guys, I've got to say that I have ordered an Xpeng G9, pre-ordered one of those, and also the Zeekr X. And I highly recommend both of those. I don't believe you can pre-order the Zeekr X yet. If you're a general consumer, you can register your interest though. But I will put a link in the description to the Xpeng G9. Or sorry, I should say the Xpeng G6. G9 is great too, but the G9 is coming next year. The G6 is going to be available within a month. And I think there's been so many pre-orders now, I believe more than 500 potentially here in Australia. But when people find out the price of that vehicle, which I think they will soon, there's going to be a flood of orders, and I think you might have to wait a very long time considering the price is incredibly good. This vehicle is much higher spec than an equivalent Tesla Model Y for a cheaper price. So I'll put a link in the description below that gets you a free home charger and installation. You can pre-order it, and of course you can cancel as well if you wanted to before the order goes in. So what is going on with the Kia EV9? Well, discounts in the United States have reached $18,000 US, but that's on average. That's about 30,000 Australian dollars. I can't understand this. I mean, this is an incredibly good value car in the US anyway, without these discounts. However, according to S&P Mobility's global data, EV registrations reached 108,000 in June, right? That was up 3.1% from last year. That was, by the way, this is for the United States. So US EV sales, of course, haven't grown anywhere near the pace that Chinese EV sales have. S&P analyst Kent Chu said June's numbers were good for EVs. And here's the thing. There is a lot more vehicles on the market. So the pie hasn't grown that much. But companies like Kia have been growing really fast. Cadillac as well, Toyota as well, apparently. Here's the thing. Electric saying, wow, look at Toyota's EV growth, 138% growth. The reason for that is that Toyota sold almost no EVs last year. So this growth is nonsensical. Obviously, it's ridiculous. It's almost like selling 1 EV last year. You sell 100 this year and you say, look, 1,000,000% growth. Wow, look at that. Incredible, spectacular. But of course, you ignore the fact that they only sold 1 last year. So Toyota's EV growth has been actually not very good this year. Kia's has been great. Kia have grown 106%. But that's coming off selling a fairly good number of EVs last year. And the key reason for that is the EV9 and the EV6, they're actually really good vehicles. Which is why I'm surprised that the average discount on an EV9 is currently at $18,000 US in the United States. That means the price for the most buyers are paying is probably around about $50,000 US. This is a really good value car for this price. I can't understand why. The EV9, right? How many deliveries? Well, so far this year, about 14,000 have been sold in the United States. It's a pretty good number, 14,000, for what is really kind of a niche type product. In the US though, it's a fair bit cheaper than here in Australia. It starts at about $56,000 US. That includes delivery fees, and the top spec model is $73,900. But if you look at those prices and you consider the fact the average discount was $18,000 off that price, honestly, guys, it looks to me as though the average price paid would be around 50 or just under 50,000 US dollars, maybe even $48,000. Absolute bargain if you live in the United States. Can you negotiate potentially with Kia dealers here in Australia? Well, I reckon you can. Kia EV9 sales have been relatively slow here in Australia because the starting price is around 100,000 Australian dollars, which is about 66,000 US dollars. Starting price is 16,000 US dollars higher in Australia than it is in America. That's a massive difference. That's about $25,000 difference in starting price. Guys, if you're after a 7-seat electric SUV, it could be worth trying to negotiate on these vehicles. If you can get this kind of discount in America, it's a no-brainer. This car is amazing for that price. If you can get that kind of discount in Australia, that's a good deal as well. But keep in mind, there will be a range of new 7-seat electric SUVs and vans or MPVs coming to the Australian car market and the European car market, and also the American car market over the next 1 to 2 years. So lots of options to look out for and consider.